Hey, what's going on? Today is a really fun day because I'm actually going to be going through and giving my thoughts and opinions on the Game Awards as I cast my votes and hope that some of my favorite games of the year win. I haven't posted anything in nearly a month and a half. I've just been preoccupied with Christmas stuff, as you can tell from the Christmas tree in the background. I got 3 kids. My life isn't just on YouTube, so I've been trying to make the most of that time in the season with them. But for the first time, I wanted to share the experience of voting in the Game Awards and talk about some of my favorite games from the year. So let's go ahead and do that. Before we begin, I will say that the amount of games that we've had this year, like high caliber games, it's incredible. Some of my favorites have been Expedition 33, which is probably up there in my top 3 games of all time. Pokemon Legends EA, I don't know how many nominations that game has got, but I feel like that was a huge step forward for people who grew up with the franchise. It feels like the game that we always wanted as kids. So with 3 days left to go, let's go ahead and start voting. Game of the year. We're just jumping straight into it. Oh, geez. Okay, so Death Stranding 2, I haven't had a chance to play. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I haven't had that much of a chance to play it. A little bit, tiny bit, not as much as I would like. Hades 2 looks incredible. I realize now that I may have bit off more than I can chew, because actually playing the majority of these games, I know there's a huge sort of battle between Expedition 33 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 between Game of the Year. Death Stranding 2, I think, is like 3rd place, in my opinion. But Game of the Year for me, out of everything that's on this list right now, has to be Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It is one of the most emotional games that I have ever played. Storytelling-wise, it is brilliant. It took me back to a place that I haven't been in with gaming for a very, very long time. There's been some that, they got me kind of close, but Expedition 33 it took me back to childhood, being a teenager, falling in love with this medium for the first time, and reliving some of my favorite games, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, even the turn-based system. I wasn't expecting it to be good, turned out to be incredible. And I love this game so much to the point where the orchestra, the soundtrack guys, they are actually performing in Paris next year. The minute those tickets go on sale, I'm booking something up. The soundtrack to this game is something that I've just had it on loop. I've been listening to French lyrics. I don't know what they're saying, but it's ingrained in me at this point how fantastic this one is. So Game of the Year for me, straight off the bat, Expedition 33. Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Oh man, this is going to be harder than I thought. So Ghosts of Yotei, beautiful game. I feel like if anything, it's so hard because Kojima's got his own style. So how can you pick between these two in terms of uniqueness? I feel like it's not going to be Ghosts of Yotei because a lot of the way we have seen that game, we saw on Tsushima. So it's going to be hard to say that this is innovative, but the gameplay itself is great. Hades 2, I feel like it's beautiful. It's got its own thing. Very, very cool, but I wouldn't say here. Split Fiction, haven't had a chance to play it, but I've heard some incredible things, especially about the game direction, the creative vision, everything else, which this would be for. But again, I've got to stick with Expedition 33. What a lineup this is. But for me personally, Expedition 33. Best Narrative, outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. I'm going to sound like such a shill. I really am. I feel like, this is very close to AC Shadows, and it's just unfortunate they both released at the exact same time. Death Stranding 2, haven't had much of a chance to sort of dive into that. The story looks cool, but I feel like it's overwhelmed by Kojima's vision for the game and his stylistic choices. Not that it's bad, it's just the focus isn't on the story as such. So I think we're going to have to go with Expedition 33 again. Never worked with Sandfall. I need to clarify that. I've made one video ever on Expedition 33, and admittedly that video was just me just gushing about it, but there we go. Next vote. Best Art Direction. Fuck me. Oh, I'm just gonna do it. The game is literally about a group of painters who piece together this world through vibrancy and everything else. Oh, I've just seen the next one. Best Score and music. This one's actually kind of tight, right? Because I loved the whole soundtrack for Expedition 33. This is the game that I want to book tickets for, fly to another country, and go and see that game soundtrack live. But with that said, Silksong's soundtrack is incredible. Same with Hades 2. But just the fact that I would be prepared to fly to another country to listen to people play it, I'm just gonna how do I just admit that like all of my votes are gonna go towards this game? I need something to like give Expedition 33 competition. There's nothing that comes close to it for me this year. Best audio design. Oh, okay. So you know what? Expedition 33. All the praise I will give it, the audio and everything else, the music, the soundtrack, all that is great. But in terms of audio design, there was nothing really off the top of my head that like stood out to me about Expedition 33's audio design. The way that like with Battlefield, for instance, the bullets would change depending on the environment and stuff like that. I never really felt of those kind of elements with Expedition. I want to say that Ghost of Yotei had like more than Expedition 33 in that regard. So honestly, I'm kind of torn between these two right now. I think I'm going to have to give this one to Battlefield because I've seen the way that the sound design works in that game, and that has stood out to me, even as somebody who hasn't put loads and loads of time into it. Immediately, that's one of the first things I recognized. So there we go, Battlefield. Best performance awarded to an individual for voice acting, emotion, and or performance capture. Right, so this is a tricky one, right? Because if we're talking about just Expedition 33, I know that Ben Starr did the majority of the emotion for Expedition 33, and the fact that Charlie Cox then came in and did like a 4-hour voiceover, I think it was, and just kind of like took over the performance in a way. Like Charlie Cox gets a lot of the praise that I feel is rightfully for Ben Starr, and that's not putting down Charlie Cox. He's a fantastic actor. I just feel like everybody goes and praises Charlie Cox when Ben Starr has done God knows how many hours doing the mocap and everything else. So it's a tricky situation there. So avoiding that completely. Again, I get that like this is going to be a recurring thing. I'm just going to shill for Expedition 33. Jennifer English, her performance as Mael was so good. Like one of my favorite female characters, one of the best performances, the way she reacted to all these scenes, the part where a certain character dies in Expedition 33, like all of that was portrayed so damn well. I became so emotionally invested. And anytime there's like a really emotive performance, anytime that I cried while playing the game, it was during one of her performances. So I think that kind of defines that one for me. Innovation and accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Oh, okay, now this is an interesting one, right? Because I did a sort of collaboration with Xbox and Corsair and Elgato for the release of Doom of the Dark Ages, and one of the first things that I noticed there was how much time and innovation was actually put into accessibility. Like, I'm not being told to say anything about it. It's literally just a case of I noticed this, even as somebody who doesn't need those features. Assassin's Creed Shadow also had a lot of elements there for that game. I worked with Ubisoft on the release of that one. So it's like we're on the precipice of picking between these two. I played a tiny bit of Atomfall, wasn't too keen on it, even as somebody who's like into Fallout, which I thought this would be my vibe, but I don't know. I've heard that like South of Midnight has got some really good stuff as well. We're not even going to talk about EA Sports. That's not my realm. I think next year I need to focus on like actually playing all the big games, even if I make minimal content on them, just play them. I think I'm going to have to hand this one to Assassin's Creed though. Just noticing like how much detail they put into everything. If you go into the options, the settings, and see how many things they've actually implemented there for accessibility, that's up there. Games for impact, a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Right, okay, so haven't played. I've heard about this one. I haven't played this. So this is not my forte. I need to like actually get on some of these. But just based off what I've heard, we're going to go South of Midnight. Best ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Man, again, this is like a bit of a tricky one. Helldivers is really, really fun. And I really love the support and everything they're doing for that. Marvel Rivals looks great. Haven't had much of an opportunity to play it. Final Fantasy 14 looks incredible. I've heard so many good things about the ongoing support for it. But for me, my area is Fortnite, because this is a game that I play with my kids on a long-term basis, and No Man's Sky, because we've all seen the massive updates. Now, here's the thing, right? As much as I love Fortnite and as much as I enjoy playing it with my kids, I just don't feel like there have been any crazy innovations with Fortnite over the last year. We've had the huge switch up between the engines and everything else happening a while ago, but there's been nothing really that's like stood out to me to say, hey, Fortnite's an absolutely banging game. I need to play it right now. Whereas No Man's Sky is one of those games where it's remarkable, and the ongoing support that the game gets, that's why it gets my vote. And the fact that they don't have to support it, but they still are, because they're just trying to prove a point, saying, hey, we love this game. that's why we vote for it. Best community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, responsiveness, inclusion of social media activity, and game updates and patches. Ooh, okay, right. So, So looking at this from my perspective, like Fortnite's got great community support. I feel like that's mostly incentivized by microtransactions and things like that, which is nothing wrong with that. But I feel like introducing companions is another way of making money. The the fact that they're trying to move towards building the story back up for Fortnite, that's all good. And it's good to listen to community there, but that doesn't stand out to me. I'm not too familiar with how much Baldur's Gate has been supporting with the community. Final Fantasy 14, heard great things, but I'm not too familiar with it. So from my perspective, and No Man's Sky is great, but I don't know how much they actually interact with the audience. Helldivers, however, really stands out to me because they had the PlayStation thing happening last year, I think it was, or earlier this year. And then they had this issue where they absolutely nerfed all the guns and stuff in the game, and then they managed to fix it, patch it all up, which is great. But they listened on both occasions, some of which was caused by Sony, some of which was through the changes that Arrowhead made. But both times they listened to the community and they said, hey, listen, we messed up on this. We're going to fix it. We're going to roll it back. So for that reason, I think it's got to go to Helldivers. Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievements in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Yeah, what's weird with this one, right? Blueprints, I've heard really good things about. Haven't played it. Haven't played either of these two either. With these three here, it's a very weird thing because Hades isn't the most highly anticipated, but when it launched, everybody loved it. Silksong was one of the most highly anticipated, but I found that after it launched, people didn't really continue that discussion for a while. Drifted off a little bit. I think we know what my answer is going to be personally. Expedition 33 wasn't the game that it was. It absolutely deserves to go to Hades and Silksong because the amount of time and effort that the developers put into these games, it's remarkable and they deserve all the praise in the world. But again, for me, Expedition 33, it came in like a bulldozer and it's destroyed every other game that's in the running this year. Best debut indie game for the best debut game created by a new independent. I'm sorry. You know what though? You know what? I feel like Expedition 33 is a fantastic indie game. It's a great introduction to the franchise. I'm gonna vote for it, but I do want to give a little moment just to say Dispatch. I played this one. And it is one of the most unique things. I get that a lot of it, I don't want to say it's marketing, right? But the inclusion of all the YouTubers and the content creators and stuff like that, that's what hooked me. And I think that's a really interesting concept. And they're hopefully working on future iterations of the game. And that in itself is a really, really cool thing to see. The animation style is great. It's very unique and very high quality. Dispatch as a game is fantastic. My heart, it lies with Expedition 33, but I would love for the developers at Dispatch to continue doing what they're doing and keep integrating with other content creators because I feel like that's what makes this game so goddamn huge. And the writing for the game itself was actually fantastic. So, but for now, I'm sorry. Best mobile game for the best playable on a mobile device. Man, it's tricky. I don't really play mobile games. Where's old school RuneScape? Where's Jagex? We're missing the OSRS. I don't know. Out of these, again, I'm not hugely into them. Destiny Rising looks pretty good on mobile, so I'll throw a vote for that. I do want to play Persona though. Persona looks really sick. I just haven't had a chance. So, but for now, we're going to go Destiny Rising. Best VR AR for the best game experience playable in a virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of the platform. Ooh, there was a new Deadpool game this year. What? Or is that a re-release? How did I miss that? I'm not familiar with any of these, really. I've seen a couple of clips of Alien Rogue Insurgent. I don't know if it's any good, so I'm just going to go... I'm going to vote for Alien, just because really love the franchise. Next, best action game for the best game in an action genre focused primarily on combat. Ooh, Expedition 33 isn't here, so somebody else has a chance. Fuck yeah. All right. Let's look at the options here, right? So we got Battlefield 6. You know what? I think this is where my vote is going to go. Doom: The Dark Ages was fantastic, and it was the first Doom game that I ever properly played. I played a tiny bit of one of the old ones, but this in itself, the combat was so fun. Hades 2, I haven't had much of a chance to play with, but if it's anything like the first game, I was super impressed with it. it just felt a little bit linear after a while. Like you're just grinding to be able to unlock certain new things. Ninja Gaiden looks fun. Haven't played it. Same with Shinobi. So these two, they're on my list, dude. I need more time. That's my problem. For now, I think I'm going to have to go with Battlefield, though. Not only was it a great game by itself, and it got the community interested in FPS games again for the first time in a while, but it also gave Call of Duty a run for their money, and it looks, based on like Black Ops 7 and some of the drama that's been happening since Battlefield 6 released, the fact that they kind of got Call of Duty on their toes a little bit, saying, listen, we're going to start listening to community support a little bit more here. That's great, and I feel like we need that. Call of Duty needs competition to be able to do anything. It's always going to do numbers. Call of Duty doesn't have to change anything, but the fact that like they are losing sales, and Black Ops 7 was one of the worst launches, particularly on Steam, for any game ever in the franchise, something's happening here. So let's go ahead and keep that momentum going and vote for Battlefield 6. The best action adventure. For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Out of everything here, it's so difficult. For me personally, having not played Split Fiction, which I've heard is very, very fantastic for this sort of thing, it's got to be between Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei, just based on the fact that you are traveling often through these big, wide lands, and you very much rely on the combat, which kind of puts Death Stranding 2 a little bit of a disadvantage here, but also the beauty of the world and everything around you, which Death Stranding 2 does very well, but also Ghost of Yotei, I think it's got to go for this. I know that like there are a lot of elements pulled from Tsushima, but you cannot deny that this is one of the most beautiful games ever made, and the combat itself is fantastic in the game as well. So, yep, there we go. Ghost of Yotei. Best RPG. God damn it. She's back. All right, so we will know what I'm going to vote for. I will say Avowed really deserves praise. It came out and there was so much fucking controversy with that game. Everyone's saying it was woke. The amount of dislikes, I made a review on the video, the amount of dislikes that I got the day that video was published. Over time, people have warmed to it, right? And that initial wave of hate and everybody just hate bombing the videos, it dissipated over time. And people have come to like enjoy the game, which is great. And Obsidian continues to grow and they're doing this stuff. They've actually just brought back one of the developers from one of the OG Fortnite games. So that will be exciting to see how that kind of transitions in the future. But out of everything we have here, I'm going to vote for Expedition. But I will say that in terms of RPGs, Avowed was fantastic. And if you're a fan of Skyrim, this is like Skyrim on visual steroids with some of those gameplay mechanics drawn back. Please check this one out because it's fantastic. And Outer Worlds 2 looks great. I just haven't had much of a chance to play it. But again, that's Obsidian stepping up, doing their thing, making something awesome. So good on those guys, but my heart has been stolen, I'm afraid. Best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. It's tricky because this is not my forte or my genre, but I feel like I've played a little bit of Mortal Kombat Legacy. So I'm gonna, just straight off the bat, I'm gonna hand it to these guys. Best family. For the best game appropriate for family play irrespective of genre or platform. Where is Astrobot? Did that not come out this year? Was that last year? Shit. I'm getting old. Okay, so going back to Donkey Kong Bonanza, I haven't had much time to actually sit down and play it. It looks fun. It looks pretty cool, and I like the direction that Nintendo's going with that. Lego Party, not a bloody clue. Lego Void, bloody hell, Lego's doing all right, aren't they? Mario Kart World is probably going to be my vote just because it came out on the Switch too. I got to play it with my kids. It was really fun. I built some memories there. Split Fiction, again, I've heard great things. Can I vote for a game that I haven't technically played? Because I feel like Split Fiction deserves some love here. I think I'm going to vote for it. Like Mario Kart World was good, but it doesn't stand out to me as like a fantastic game. It's just, to me, it's another one in the Mario Kart franchise. So I think I'm actually going to vote for Split Fiction. Just based off of what I've seen and what I've heard, it deserves some love. Best sim strategy. The best game focused on real-time or turn-based The best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay irrespective of platform. So Civ 7, when I saw the trailer for that, it looked really good, but then as somebody who hasn't been into that sort of realm before, I did just start playing Anno. Really, really fun game. Civ 7 looks fantastic, but there's nothing here really that I'm like overly familiar with, and the response to this one hasn't been fantastic from what I've seen. No hate, not too familiar with it. Let's go Final Fantasy. Safe bet. Best sports racing. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. I mean, out of all these, I'm going to go for Mario World. Sports and racing needs a little bit of a boost. Horizon, where you at, man? Best multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of the game genre or platform. This is a tricky one because I know everyone's going to go for Elden Ring. But again, Arc Raiders is there as well. You know, that's huge. This is going to be rough. So I saw one of my buddies playing Peak. That looked fun, but it doesn't, I feel like that doesn't even touch like some of the other games we have on this list here. For me personally, just based off what I've seen online, it's between these two. Elden Ring Night Rain looks cool, but there's been controversy and issues there. So like I'm a bit on the fence about it. Like both of these games are great. Like this one here is making a huge movement on Twitch right now. I've been watching some of Burnt Peanut like everybody else, and it's really cool to be able to see a game just skyrocket like this. And again, it's another kick in the teeth for Call of Duty Activision. But I think, again, like Battlefield 6 has had a great year. I'm actually, you know what, I'm gonna go for Arc Raiders, right? Just seeing, like, it's multiplayer. You're bringing a community together to play a game. And Battlefield 6 had a fantastic reception, but just seeing how Arc Raiders is evolving and the longevity that I see with this game, yeah, let's go for that. Best adaptation. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Okay, so I know straight off the bat which one I'm going to go for. DMC, I didn't even know this anime, I assume it's anime, existed. So marketing team, where you at? Okay, so I didn't even know these three existed, so they're out of the window. For me, it would be between Minecraft Movie and The Last of Us Season 2. Minecraft Movie is great, but in terms of like a faithful adaptation, it's one of those things like, is it faithful? It definitely brought in a lot of elements from Minecraft. It feels kind of like you're playing the game, but I just feel like there's that obvious distinction between the movie and what that delivers, and something like The Last of Us, which makes the whole show. An example here is like, if my nan, who is not into video games, wanted to know more about the series that everybody's talking about, The Last of Us, right? I could say, hey, it was a video game, watch this show because it's identical. The characters are so well done and everything else. And I get that there's like hate for Bella Ramsey. I don't fucking understand it, and I think it's stupid and childish. I think she's done a great job of bringing that character to life. And of course, Pedro's performance is great. So I think we're going to go for Last of Us Season 2. I know there are a couple of changes and a couple of little tweaks here and there in the show, but in terms of a faithful adaptation and getting people who aren't familiar with the gaming medium to partake in what is happening over there, I think they did a fantastic job. The most anticipated game, recognizing and announced the game that has demonstrably illustrated the potential to push the gaming medium forward. So like everybody, I think, is going to go ahead, and this is tricky because like it's, if you want to follow the instructions, recognizing a game, an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Like, naturally, a lot of people are going to go for GTA 6, and I was excited for it for the first 3 years we knew about its existence. I think it's been a year or a year and a half or something since we saw the first trailer. It's just one of those things, like another delay, some of the internal issues that have been happening at Rockstar. Everybody is, this is going to win. Like, there's no real disputing that GTA 6 is probably going to win most anticipated game because everybody knows about it. It's one of the most anticipated games of all time. So if you want to just go off this blurb right here, GTA 6, easy. But on the other hand, 007 First Light looks pretty damn cool. This is one of those games that I didn't think I would be into, and I'm kind of excited to check it out. Wolverine, I want to check it out, but I'm not hyped by any of the trailers or anything whatsoever. Resident Evil Requiem looks cool, but again, it's not my forte. The Witcher 4, however, is one of those games that not only demonstrates huge potential for content creators, for people who love the franchise, who are following along with the show despite all the changes. Like, it has so much potential as a game. It is super highly anticipated, and also like some of the tech stuff that they're doing with that game. I don't know how much you guys are into the actual tech side of game dev, right? But The Witcher 4 looks like groundbreaking in so many ways, and if they follow through with it, like, for me personally, I'm more excited about The Witcher right now, probably due to all the delays of GTA 6, but I'm more excited about The Witcher 4 right now than I am any other game on this list. So for me personally, I'm going to go with this one. I am still always gonna, like, 100% I'm playing this game, but this has gotten my attention right now. Let's get that one in the bag. Right, we're 25 out of 29, so if you guys haven't already tapped the subscribe button, follow along for stuff like this. This is not my regular style of content, but maybe one day I'll find myself on a list like this. It's unlikely, but it would be even more likely if you guys were to support the journey, so feel free to do so. Content Creator of the Year for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2025. All right, so if we're talking about just sheer for entertainment and everything else. Like the Burnt Peanut, he's coming up, right? He's doing really well. But I feel like it's one of those situations. I don't know the guy. I don't know the trajectory of his journey or any of that shit. But it just comes down to the fact, like right now he is crazy popular. Is he still going to be there in a year or so? I don't know. My instinct is to go for the Burnt Peanut because I'm enjoying his content right now. But then you look at like Moist Critical, who has been consistent for God knows how many years, and he's like made a very big impact on the creator community. But then you have guys like Kai who are just on another level, and I don't think a lot of people recognize Kai for the amount of dedication he puts into his craft, not just the crazy live streams and things like that, and the mafiathons and everything, but just the fact that this man goes and makes these cinematic masterpieces and pays tens and £100,000 towards production value for these movies and these trailers and everything else. Like he is taking, he's the Mr. Beast of Twitch, and I think that Twitch live streamers, content creators, we thrive because of people like that who help push the medium forward, because it gives us as smaller creators opportunities that we wouldn't otherwise have. So just based on that perspective, I'm going to vote for Kai, because I think the man has gone above and beyond over the last couple of years, not just to entertain, but to actually make a difference and be a positive influence on the young generation. The man's great. I like him. Best esports game, for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience, the players inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of platform or genre. Actually, this is an interesting one. So I'm not that big into the esports stuff, but I have seen that Valve is doing really well and people are like heavily interested in all the new changes and stuff that are coming out. League of Legends, I am actively avoiding that game because OSRS, dude, I got into that game God knows how many years ago. I know it's a bit of a different thing, but I got hooked on OSRS when I was like 13. 18 years, man. I've been hooked on that shit. I'm scared of getting into LoL. So I think for me personally, just seeing the chatter online, it's got to be Val. Best esports athlete. Do I know anyone here? No. Not a clue. Who's got the nicest smile out of all these guys? You're a good looking dude. You're not smiling, no. No smile from you, sir. Nice picture though, very professional. He's a very confident guy. Has an awkward smile. He isn't too comfortable in front of the camera. These two, oh, they're close. They're close. I feel like this guy here though, this guy here deserves the vote just based off of that smile. Look at him. Look how happy and positive he is with his life. Best esports team. Fuck. Again, I know nothing about these guys here. Who's got the best branding? If we're talking about teams, branding is an essential thing. No idea about you guys. That's a cool little color scheme and stuff. Oh man, I like this. The yellow and the white and the black. That was kind of cool. Yeah, let's vote for these guys. Player's voice. 3 rounds, 3 chances to vote. I missed the first 2. Oh wait, no, I missed all of them. Shit. All right, well that pretty much wraps it up. Those are my votes for the Game Awards 2025. I am super excited to see who wins. I know that like a lot of my votes went towards Expedition 33. I think the game deserves, like I said, all the praise that you could give it. If you haven't played the game, you really need to go and check it out. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it was, like I said, the first time in a long time I felt something. I felt emotions. Yeah, really deserves all the praise it can get. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I now have a 45-minute recording of me yapping, talking about the Game Awards. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more videos, not like this, but definitely something I want to try and get more into with a commentary and a narration, giving thoughts and opinions on stuff. But yeah, man, let me know who you voted for. Who do you think is going to win? It'd be really interesting to see how many of these I actually got right. Anyway, I love you faces. You're amazing. You're beautiful. And I'll catch you in the next one.